Before Barrett, before Guelo 60, before the beginning of Shilldom, there was one Shill to rule them all. He secretly kept this from everybody for many years, hidden in the deepest, darkest depths of YouTube, until something happened that the Shill didn't intend. It was discovered by the most unlikely person imaginable, me. And now comes the time to expose this Shill and put him in his rightful place as the Lord of the Shills. But first, a quick word from our sponsor. Are you bald and morally bankrupt? Do you have hair and are morally bankrupt? Heck, are you just morally bankrupt? Are you desperate for attention and validation? Are you willing to sell out your country, your values, and everything just for a few subscribers? Are you comfortable spreading the propaganda for an evil authoritarian regime? If you said yes, then you definitely fit the bill to be a CCP shill, and our client could really use a cold-hearted, narcissistic, vain, and immoral prick just like you. Our client is desperate for new shills to push their propaganda, especially in today's climate where authoritarianism just isn't as cool as it used to be. But you can help them bring back the totally awesome in totalitarian. We have many positions to be filled on YouTube, Facebook, and all the other banned websites in China. Banned, might I add, because these apps are not good enough for such an amazing government. And don't you worry about breaking the laws of China, because you can use that VPN, but only if you post positive CCP content, okay? And please don't worry if you're lacking in imagination and creativity, because we'll give you the topics to talk about. Genocide denial and poverty alleviation are just some of the topics that you could be talking about. So join today, because being a CCP shill is such a thrill. Call 1-800-KISS-SHE'S-ASS. That's 1-800-KISS-SHE'S-ASS. And remember, when you're shilling it, you're killing it. Anyway, let's get back to the video. I present to you the Lord of the Shills. It's my good friend CCP Milk, or as I'd like to rename him, Shill Milk.
People's misconception about China's growth. Now, no one seemed to have an argument when America was pulling through the Industrial Revolution and all that. And I don't really quite understand why people have such a big deal, such a big problem with China's recent economic growth. They're scared. I think they're scared that maybe someday they'll take over America as the most powerful nation in the world. And guess what? It's probably true. But you can't fault a country for working hard to achieve that. And basically, I think people are just going to be jealous.
Aha! The age-old argument. Nobody got all upset when America went through its period of economic growth, so why should we make such a big deal about China's economic rise? Because now it's China's time to shine, right? And they deserve it just as much as any other country. Well, here's the thing, young Shill Milk. The more China grows economically, the more powerful it becomes. And unfortunately, China has one of those little things called an authoritarian government that doesn't allow its own people basic human rights like freedom to vote, freedom of speech, freedom of press, and so on. This isn't really the sort of government that I, and I'm sure lots of other people, want influencing the rest of the world. And with an ever-growing economy, China gets stronger and stronger. And there's also that little problem, I'm not sure if you've heard of it, of damaging the environment. Back during the Industrial Revolution, I think it's safe to say that a lot of people weren't really concerned with the environment. But now, it's 2023 and China is the world's biggest polluter. I think people definitely have the right to be a little bit concerned about China's rise.
Look how fast they pulled through. I mean, how many years have they had to do this? Not so much. I mean, how many years have they?
Why on earth is he sniffing his fingers? Is Shill milk a secret shamateur in disguise?
China's per capita income has grown on an average rate of more than 8% over the last 3 decades, which has just taken a sledgehammer to poverty. We're talking crazy poverty reduction. We're coming from absolute poverty to almost no poverty.
Can I smell a little bit of poverty alleviation propaganda going on here? So this poverty alleviation propaganda was even a thing back in 2006, huh? Anyway, while it's true that China is less poor than it used to be, I mean, anything would be better than people starving to death during a great famine, right? But the fact is that it was the same government that led the country during those awful times of the Great Leap Forward and Cultural Revolution. So burning your old neighborhood down and then putting out the fire isn't exactly a great achievement now, is it? Next, absolute figures for poverty are used when dealing with extremely poor third world countries, not the second largest economy in the world. So riddle me this. How come in the second richest country in the entire world, the poverty line is $2.30 a day? Can anyone really survive on such a low income? Even in China, where cost of living is on the up, it's just impossible to imagine somebody living in, say, Beijing or Shanghai on such a small amount of money. It just wouldn't happen. The average Chinese person is still pretty goddamn poor, as illustrated by China's former second-in-command, Li Keqiang, rest in peace. Li said that more than 2/5 of the population made less than $140 a month. This is an extremely low monthly income, and it totally flies in the face of Xi Jinping's claim that poverty has been eradicated. So sorry, Shill Milk, but you fucked up on this one too, buddy.
Okay, let's get back to it. This economic system has been called socialism with Chinese characteristics.
Socialism with Chinese characteristics. Oh my god, please stop. He says a whole lot more than this though. So now, let's just watch the best of Shill Milk, shall we?
Got a little angry because I'm really sick and tired of people not accepting this once poor country becoming this very wealthy, prosperous country. I think people need to get off their high horses and face the truth that China will be the #1 superpower in the world, economic, and God knows what else. I am not biased, I'm not full of communist propaganda or anything like that. Western propaganda that you could find on the internet about China and how they're, they got the slave trade and all this ridiculous stuff that it's not going on. This guy has this severe hatred towards China, and I'm just, this is what's being spread around my country. China is, it's a beautiful country, #1. The people are absolutely incredible, very hospitable, very, very friendly, and I gotta say more polite and more honest than any American I've ever met, to be honest with you. And so much for our Christian nation, China requires our understanding and engagement, not our enmity and suspicion, which could culminate in self-defeatingly creating the crisis we fear.
Okay, that was riveting. And obviously by now, you've probably all realised that the shill we've been talking about is Matthew Tai, or better known by his YouTube handle, LaoY86. This is his first ever channel on YouTube, and he recently made a video about it to explain his crazy and deluded mindset at this time. Obviously, when he made these videos, he was young, dumb, and full of cum.
Young, dumb, and full of cum.
And it seems that he was influenced to make more videos by the positive feedback he received from the Wu Mao in the comments. Even in 2006, Wu Maos were doing their thing on YouTube. And I know exactly how he felt from this validation that he was getting, because when I first moved to China back in 2008, I thought it was cool as hell to walk around wearing a goddamn Mao Zedong t-shirt. Looking at these images is seriously cringe for me, but I got so much positive feedback from just random Chinese people that it made me feel like I was doing the right thing. I was the Laowai who understood China, the Laowai who knew about China's history. I mean, I was young and impressionable and thought that I was super cool, sticking it to those capitalist pigs. You see, I was very much a punk when I first went to China and had a huge problem with authority and especially the UK government. When I went to China, I finally felt free because I was making a lot of money, I was selfish, and as long as I was okay making all of that money and being respected by people for doing nothing other than wearing a ridiculous Mao Zedong t-shirt, a genocidal madman who is responsible for more deaths than Hitler, yeah, I was pretty messed up, right? Not exactly punk, was it? Wearing a t-shirt for a guy who represents an authoritarian government. That's the exact opposite of punk. Anyway, my point is that I changed, and Matt also changed. We both lived in China for a long period of time, and actually seeing all of the messed up crap that happens really changed our perspective, not only on China, but our own countries too. And when I wore that Mao Zedong t-shirt, I was a shill for the CCP. And upon reflection, it was pretty fucking dumb. Anyway, we all make mistakes, don't we? And I think that both myself and Matt have done plenty to redeem ourselves over the years. And those pro-CCP tools that we once were, well, they're a thing of the past. And I can guarantee it that some of those shills that we see today all over YouTube, one day, they're going to look back on those old propaganda videos that they did and they're going to seriously regret doing them. So anyway, thanks for watching today's video, and as usual, this shill has been busted.